I originally started this YouTube channel to focus on photography, but where I'm at in my life right now, I think it's more important to share my story. I've heard to be successful on YouTube, you need to have entertainment or education. And while I think that's probably true, I think there's some content out there that people are craving. I think people want to identify with other people. I think it's why we're addicted to scrolling on TikTok. And we stop when we see something that catches our attention, but it's because often that we identify with it. It's why people like Gawks, because Gawks is amazing. They also identify with him. They identify with his insecurities. It's why Andrew Paul's content is so good. Because he's putting his insecurities on the internet. He's putting his entire process of how he comes up with what he puts on YouTube. It's powerful. And he's doing it with such artistic grace. What's funny is he doesn't think he is. And he doubts himself. Because we all suffer from that internal self-doubt. Me personally, I'm a bit of an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. Often I suffer from imposter syndrome. I can see that in my photography. When I picked a camera back up, I had no clue what I was doing. I went nearly 20 years without any substantial photography or camera use. And when I was using a camera, I was putting rolls of film in. I kind of skipped the entire DSLR revolution. I had a few point and shoots over the years, but nothing that inspired me to actually take pictures. I think I have a really, really good eye for photography. I can see things sometimes that I think is artistic. And I think that's all it is. I think a lot of people have that ability, but then they doubt themselves and they miss that shot. So what do we have to do to take that shot more? What do we have to do to let go of our inhibitions and truly find creative freedom? I think one of the biggest lessons you can learn is just start. Andrew Paul did an entire YouTube episode about that. Gawks just did one about how art is stolen. And they're both right. You just have to start. And everything that you've said or that you've done has been done before, in some form or fashion. It's why every song kind of sounds like another song. And there's a million 2 and 3 chord songs out there. Art is entirely subjective. But I think as humans, we're supposed to be creative. And people doubt themselves, oftentimes not experiencing what they're truly capable of. I remember sitting around with my friends between the ages of 8 and 12 and people drawing, and some of those kids were just natural artists. My best friend was an incredible artist. He still is. But I've always compared myself to him, thinking that I'm not an artist because I can't draw. And that's just not true. Because everybody in some respect is an artist. We're born with creativity. We're each born with some sort of gift. But each one of us has a unique creative gift to share with this world. But there are things that get in the way of it. And oftentimes, many of us never find it. So what's my entire point of this YouTube? I implore you to do whatever you can do to find your creative outlet. You may already have it. You may be well on your way. You may be stuck. You may be in a creative rut. You may be where I was at for many, many years, thinking that you had no creative bone in your body. I could do a lot of things, but I was master of none of them. Learned to play a lot of instruments, just barely. I could kind of sing. Not great. Was never good at drawing. But deep in my body, I'm artistic, and I have a lot of love in my heart. And I think when you allow love to be the focal point, For me personally, I believe my creativity started to blossom. So, how does that relate to any of this? It relates because I didn't pick up a camera for a lot of years. And it wasn't until I picked up a camera again that I was actually inspired artistically. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. This is probably overexposed. My lighting's probably off. But I've really been working on it. I've been working to better understand how this works. Because I want to master it. I want it to look good. But I also know that it's not realistic to master anything. Because if I look at it that way, then I'll get bored with it. Because one day I'll feel like I may have accomplished it. And so right now, I'm just enjoying the process. I'm just enjoying putting myself out there. Because I'm doing this for me, and I'm not doing it for you. When I finish a product, whether it be a picture, or a video, or a short, I like it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I delete it. But most of the time I like it, and I'm proud of myself. And I'm happy that I've found my creative outlet again. And I'm happy that I keep going. And I'm happy that I'm learning every day. And so again, I implore you to search, to keep trying, to keep doing whatever it is that you need to do, to find whatever it is that inspires you to be creative, because you have it in you, just as I did, just as I do. I'll leave you with this. No matter what, even if you get into a creative rut for 20 plus years like I did, if your heart is right, and if you make that a focal point of your life, believe that your creativity and your gift and whatever it is that you have to share and leave to this world, it will come out. And so often we think that creativity has to be some form of art. But what is art? There's a lot of things that are classified as art. I think loving is an art form. And however that comes out, it'll be art in some form or fashion. And it will ooze creativity. And I truly believe that every single one of us have that inside of us. So while this is not educational and it's not entertainment, it is heartfelt. And I hope it finds whoever needs to hear it. And if you made it through this video this far, tell me where you're at creatively. Tell me if you're stuck. Tell me if you're a world-renowned artist. Tell me if you're just getting started. Tell me if you've been through 1,000 things and you still can't find it. Just tell me. Because being honest with yourself, that's how we grow. That's how we change. That can be the beginning of your creative process. That can be the beginning of getting out of your rut. That can be the beginning of sharing your gift with the rest of us.